Okay, so
yeah, man, I missed y'all too, man.
let me
Like,
tell y'all about
we back in the
this
building.
crazy
I've been in some
person,
heavy
this
jungles.
cult leader, Nature
You
Boy.
know, I accept callers in a minute.
This
I'm
is
gonna
Nature
accept y'all
Boy.
in a minute. I'm gonna accept my callers in a minute. But we traveling. Basically, we're gonna be traveling through Central America, and we headed toward Costa Rica. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be possibly in Costa Rica. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Like, we had to leave that location. We don't, you know what I'm saying? We have to get another home. Another
They got
location.
kicked out of their Airbnb.
Right now, getting from point A to point B. You feel me? Just donate to the family.
So this is pretty much what's going on with Nature Boy. For y'all, for those who don't know, Nature Boy is a former stripper slash barber. I think he's born in Atlanta. Oh no, he's born in New York, but he relocated to Atlanta, and he started like I think this dude was such a hustler. Okay, he's from New York, but then he moved to Atlanta, and he's pretty much a male stripper, gay stripper, and an escort, and and a prostitute. And then I think he opened up like a barber shop or something down in Atlanta. His real name is Eligio Bishop. And he's like 37, 38 years old, late 30ish. And so he pretty much moved down to Costa Rica first. He formed a cult and moved. No, he moved to Costa Rica. They say he moved to Costa Rica because he found out he was HIV positive. He's an HIV positive nigga, but nah, I don't know. I really don't know because I just recently got into Nature Boy like 2, 3 months ago. But it's like he's a real live black version of Jim Jones. He has his own cult that he formed down in, initially they went to Costa Rica, but then they moved to some parts of Caliente, Mexico or somewhere. But anyway, people were coming down here, black and white people. I think he mainly has black people now, but there were people from all different races going down there joining this man's cult, and just the whole premise of his cult, or the whole idea of his cult, is that they go down there and they're escaping Babylon or whatever. They're escaping the wicked Babylon, of America, which America is not Mystery Babylon, by the way. Vatican City is actually Mystery Babylon, FYI. But anyway, they're saying they were moving down to Costa Rica to form this cult where they practice polygamy. I think each man can have like 4 wives, which is similar to like Muslims. And so they live like in the jungle. They're not really living off the grid because they have the internet technology, and they live like in this. At first they were in Costa Rica, but then I think they got kicked out. They got beat up and kicked out or whatever. And they said they put them on a plane, and they said they were so musty and funky on the plane that the passengers was complaining, so they put them off the plane when they were deporting them from Costa Rica. But they were trying to steal some gas or something in Costa Rica, and they got beat up, ripped by police or something. So then they relocated. They got deported. And it's like 13 or 14 of them. It's Nature Boy and probably about 12 or 13, 14 different people. And so he formed this cult. He's the leader of this cult. At first he was calling himself Eligio by Nature or something like that. They call him Chief. Um, they call him Chief. The followers of the cult, they call him Chief. And he calls himself Eligio the Christ. Yeah, he calls himself Christ. And he's been there's a video of him on Pornhub. There's actually 2 porn videos of him, which young Pharaoh stay on his neck clowning him. And it's in that little Hotep community or whatever. I just watch it because it's theater for me, because I'm Christian. I'm not Hotep, I'm Christian. And young Pharaoh just be on Nature Boy's neck. And so there's 2 pornos actually of Nature Boy. One is him as a homosexual during his homosexual prostitution days, where he's being felt up by this white doctor. I guess there's like some porno skit that he made where he's actually being felt up and he's having relations with a white older doctor because he's a homosexual. He used to be a homosexual and a stripper and an escort before he formed that cult. And these people are this is who people are following, y'all. And now he calls himself Jesus Christ. It's kind of like Jim Jones, because I think they said Jim Jones was bisexual. And he used to have sex with his male and female cult members. But anyway, it's so weird. I mean, it fascinates me because there are a few cults out here. Like there was like the 5%ers and Noble Drew Ali and Dr. York and all of these people. But I never seen like a younger cult like with Nature Boy. He's like the oldest member, I believe. And he's on some Dr. Sadie type Tarzan in the jungle type of stuff. And they're not really off the grid, like I said, because they take advantage of modern technology because they have cell phones and computers and they got a car or a van or whatever that they travel in. And they were staying at this Airbnb down in Mexico after they got ran out of Costa Rica. And it was like a 1-bedroom, really nice, fancy Airbnb. And so Nature Boy, my understanding is Nature Boy and his main wife, Ileana, and the baby slept in the bedroom in the Airbnb while the other cult people slept in tents. They slept in tents with their wives and stuff. And I think they were using the bathroom on the grounds of the Airbnb because it's kind of like off in the sticks down there where they were. And they lived there. And my understanding is that when Nature Boy first started his cult, people were giving him money, moving down there. It's like people, like Pharaoh said, they running from something, like they're running from responsibility or running from their lives or something. And so they go down there with Nature Boy because Nature Boy's running from something. Nature Boy, they said he had a son here in the States that he left. He used to be really abusive to his first baby mama, and then left a son here. He has a child here that he doesn't take care of here in the States by one woman. And then the other girl, the young girl, Ileana, she's like in her early 20s. She got her mind so brainwashed. She had a little girl, a little cute little I call her Nature Baby because she's so cute and look just like him. They call her Baby Ileana. I think her name is Ileana, Baby Ileana. But anyway, he got a little girl by this chick, Ileana. Her real name is Velvet. And she moved down there with Nature Boy, ran off from her family and stuff. And she's down there and she's like the queen of the cult, I guess. She's the number one wife. And, but Nature Boy, he kind of has a rotation of people, of women down there, like a harem, his own little personal harem. And he usually have his pick of the litter, like these little broken women and men, beta males pretty much, go down there and join Nature Boy's cult, and Nature Boy pretty much got first dibs over all the women. And if he see one of the other women that he liked, which he took Ileana from Olmec or one other guy that was in his cult. I don't think Olmec is in that cult anymore. He left and came back to the States, but Nature Boy pretty much, when them women come down there for whatever reason, they running from something and they join the cult, Nature Boy usually turn them out and have sex with them. And after, if they're not who he want or whatever, he don't think that he's compatible with them, or if Ileana don't like him, then he'll pass him off to another one of the beta males in his cult. So they pretty much, like, people call it a sex cult, but I don't think it's just that. It's just that they're deviant, sexual deviance is a part of their beliefs. They practice polygamy or whatever, but they call themselves Escaping America, and some of them have like sexually transmitted diseases and stuff. And Nature Boy tries to be like Dr. Sebi and say that the late Dr. Sebi, who is like the holistic doctor, Nature Boy claims to be able to heal people of herpes and HIV and different ailments through some type of B6 diet. But if you see pictures of Nature Boy, he has seborrheic dermatitis where his face is breaking out. And I don't know for sure, but they said that Pharaoh and all the people that stay on his neck said that he's HIV positive, and seborrheic dermatitis is one of the symptoms of HIV, and it's all in Nature Boy's face. It's all on his nose, all around his mouth and stuff. He has seborrheic dermatitis, and my thing is, if you can cure people, why come you can't cure yourself? I mean, your face is showing all in your face, that they saying you got, a couple of incurable sexually transmitted diseases. And then they said, they all are pretty much sleeping with each other and passing it around amongst each other. But it's kind of a revolving door of people. The people come down there and join the cult, and then they live off donations. They beg and live off donations. People tune in and watch this is some space age. Well, this is some cyber panhandling, cyber bumming, where they beg for donations. They pretty much panhandle via the internet. That's what they do. Like a person that's, instead of on the street corner with a cup or with a bucket performing for money or begging for money, panhandling, they're on the internet doing it. They have a web camera and they have internet connection, and they're pretty much performing for people to donate to them. So that's what Nature Boy's favorite words are: don't hate, donate. So they're pretty much living off of the donations of people. But this one guy, they said, gave him $300,000. And then they said he sold his shop or something, his beauty shop in Atlanta, or barber shop. And he had money from that. And then they said he was messing with some preacher that was, gay on the DL and had HIV and was sending him money and stuff. But this guy's getting like tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But at the same time, you can blow through that kind of money if you feed 15 cult members, And what has happened now recently is that people have been calling the Mexican authorities on them to investigate them, because he's down there beating up Ileana, and they fear for the babies, because they're like, they got baby Ileana, and then I think somebody else, another couple, had brought their kids down there, and they fear for those kids. They're saying that the kids are not getting the proper medical care that they need and stuff. So the people have been calling out of concern for those kids. They've been calling the authorities and the assembly down there, asking for them to investigate Nature Boy. So something happened. I think Ileana's father went down there, because I think her daddy, Ileana, aka Velvet, the main wife or girlfriend, or what? No, she's like the main wife. He been beating her up, and so her father went down there and confronted him, and he's been on his neck, and I think he finally got the authorities to go and investigate the cult or whatever. And so somehow or another, they had to leave that Airbnb. They said something about it was some water contamination or whatever, but whatever's the case, they had to leave the Airbnb. And so now he's saying that they want to travel through to Mexico or go back to Costa Rica or some parts of Africa, and they want you to pay for it. They want people to pay for it through donations. About 14, 15 musty niggas and a baby. They want y'all to pay for it. But yeah, this is a mess, and it's just like a train wreck that you can't stop watching. A black, real, true life cult. They're called Carbonation. They used to be called Melanation. Now they're called Carbonation, and it's led by Nature Boy. His real name is Eligio Bishop, former stripper, escort, prostitute, possibly herpes and HIV infected cult leader, black cult leader. He's a cult leader like Jim Jones and Heaven's Gate and David Koresh. This is real, true life, a real live cult, and it's just weirdly amazing to watch it all unfold, because I'm wondering, what's going to happen, once, because they're running out of money, and they said they're hungry and they don't hardly have food and stuff because the donations have dried up, and they're running out of money. They got ran from the Airbnb, so at this point now they're kind of drifting, and they said that they're kind of living in the wilderness, out in the woods with the babies. And so it's a mess. It's a mess. I'm just wondering what is going on in the minds of these people that would make them leave their families, leave everything about their life, and go and join this dysfunctional dude and his cult. It's a lot of messed up people out here that really need some spiritual guidance, man, because there's no way a former stripper, homosexual, black wannabe antichrist can convince me to go down there and join a cult up under him. He's more messed up than his cult members. I don't get it's crazy, but it's like a real live disturbing soap opera to watch it. So right now we're just like everybody's kind of like tuned in to see where are they going to go, because the money is drying up, the donations are drying up, they really don't have any income or anything. They said he tries to trick like slow people that get disability to come down there and give them they SSI checks because he has to feed all the Negroes including himself. So it's messed up. If you haven't watched it, y'all go tune in. It's Carbonation. That's what it's called. And he actually takes phone calls from people. He chats with people on Skype or Facebook or whatever. He'll actually answer your phone call or whatever. And I kind of want to call and talk to them and ask them. He won't let you talk to the cult members probably, but ask them what would make y'all pick up and follow this disturbed individual. Because he can't even take care of himself. He can't take care of y'all. He's begging for donations from the public. His beliefs, he follows all that old metaphysical astrology, read your chart and talk all this old. He been to prison, so he's talking all that old enlightened convict stuff. And they fall for it. All that old metaphysical, wicked divination, astrology, psychic type vibrations and chakras and all that old nonsense. People are so susceptible to being brainwashed by anything. If they don't have a foundation, a concrete foundation, or some type of support in their life or stability, it's very easy. You're so susceptible and vulnerable to falling victim to this type of brainwashing that you will go down to Mexico and join a cult of musky jungle Negroes that can't even afford to take care of themselves and feed themselves, and they're begging, panhandling, cyber panhandling on the internet for donations. So this is their favorite word, y'all gotta go. Peace reflections. You know what? One of these days I'm gonna call Nature Boy. I'm gonna call him and talk to him. I'm gonna call all of them and talk to him. But people clown him enough. I don't need to. I just sit back and watch it. It is hilarious, but it's also disturbing at the same time. You don't want nothing to happen to them. You don't want them to get hurt or anything. But it's just like these people are so lost. It's like it's like a train wreck. You don't want to look, but then you just look. You just gotta look. It's so crazy. But tune into it, y'all. Carbonation, Nature Boy. If you want to see the inner workings of a real live black cult, just go on YouTube or go on Instagram, and it's all out there for you to see. So, peace reflections. Bless y'all. Be blessed.